So I recently rewatched Avengers 1 with a couple people, and after we watched the movie, I watched this video from some guy. The video is called Joss Whedon Hates Captain America. In this video, he basically just completely misunderstands, frames everything poorly, and just says the dumbest shit possible about MCU Captain America in Avengers 1. So for the first half of the video, it's gonna be me just like, doing my normal response video stuff, and then the second half of the video will be me starting to record us reacting to the video that's being responded to when we first watched it, because I just got to a point where I just started recording our reaction to it because it was so stupid. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you would support me for only $1 a month on Patreon, and without further ado, let's begin.
Joss Whedon Hates Captain America.
There's no point to rebuttal here, but I just think this intro is pretty funny because it reminds me of another review that also happens to be stupid of the Joker movie, and both of those videos kind of sounded like they started off the same way.
Joker has a problem with black women.
Joss Whedon hates Captain America. When the film starts, he gets an okay introduction, but it's ultimately quite shallow. We go from him learning that he's in the future, straight to him getting new missions from S.H.I.E.L.D. The film would greatly benefit from learning more about his perspective on the new world, what his thoughts are on the technology and culture, how he feels about losing his old life and other things of that nature. This eventually gets addressed in Winter Soldier, but that doesn't retroactively save this film from lacking content.
So there's two things here. One, it doesn't matter if this movie touches on that or not, because that's not what this movie is focused on with Captain America's character. And two, the movie actually does have multiple points where they touch upon the fact that Captain America's old and he's still adjusting to the new world. They're doing it smartly by having it work with the plot and character stuff that they're going for. And here's a few examples of scenes that touch on that fact. The numerous scenes with Coulson, this scene with Nick Fury in the beginning of the movie, this scene with Natasha, Steve, and Dr. Banner right before the helicarrier takes off, this scene with Fury where he gives him $10, calling back on the bet that they made earlier in the movie where Captain America says, "I doubt there's anything that will surprise me," the scene where he confronts Loki. There's multiple points in the movie where he's still trying to adjust to things, as well as multiple scenes where people keep trying to ask him about the old days or touching on the fact that he's from the old days, and just numerous reference to the old days, quote unquote. This is a really weird criticism because it's like a running gag throughout the movie.
A severely missed opportunity is giving us Captain America's first impressions of Tony Stark. Steve and Howard Stark were once very close, and Tony could serve as the gateway that would connect Steve from the old world to this new one. Instead, their introductions are relatively glossed over, with their first conversations being largely about their mission. It would be nice to see Cap's reaction to just how far Stark Industries progressed, and how he views Tony when compared to Howard.
This isn't a missed opportunity because the movie actually does this, just in ways that you either don't like because you didn't get exactly how you wanted it, or you just seem to not notice. Firstly, I don't even know why you would think MCU Tony would be the guy that bridges the gap between the old world and the new world by what he seems to be framing it as some cool catch-up where they shake hands and do some small talk. But the way they actually do this in the movie is by helping each other grow as characters, as well as proving each other wrong, which is obvious to anyone that's watched the movie, but I guess not. Tony is very arrogant and he thinks he's the big shot around the helicarrier and on the team. But at 3 points in this movie, they do something with this. One, in the scene where Tony needs help from Cap, otherwise he would have died on the helicarrier. 2, when Cap goes to talk to Tony about Coulson after he dies, and helps Tony realize what Loki's plan is, because Tony thinks back on what Cap said about him earlier in the movie, about what he thinks of Tony's pride, ego, and showboating.
Loki, he's a full-tailed diva. Right? He wants flowers, he wants parades, he wants a monument built to the skies with his name plastered. Son of a bitch.
And 3, when Iron Man at the end of the movie lets Cap take the lead and give orders to the Avengers because he's more equipped mentally from a tactical perspective to do that job. Cap does a lot for Tony in this movie and shows him that his way of doing things isn't always the best, and he peps down his ego a bit. And with Cap, he's very focused on the mission at hand because he knows Loki means to start a war, and for Cap that's really serious. Last time a war happened, well, we know. But this is a line stated verbatim in the movie.
This is a man who means to start a war, and if we don't stay focused, he'll succeed.
You're tiptoeing, big man. You need to strut.
And you need to focus on the problem, Mr. Stark.
Hence, one of the reasons why they aren't shaking hands and jerking each other off in a catch-up as soon as they're on the Quinjet after beating Loki. But while Cap is focused on the mission, Tony is focused on the other fishy stuff going on at S.H.I.E.L.D., and when they explain to Cap what the problem is, he goes off on his own without the need for any tech like Tony, and he finds the Hydra weapons S.H.I.E.L.D. was developing because of people like Thor and Loki. He's trying to do the best he can to help with his limited knowledge and physical capabilities compared to the other Avengers and the threats faced within this movie, and by the end of the movie, he takes on his leader role role and is a major help tactically in the Avengers winning against Loki. And another thing he says about how them not touching on how Steve views Tony compared to Howard, but when Banner mentions Stark Tower, Steve calls it a big ugly tower in New York, which I think is clearly showing how Steve doesn't like the showboating that Tony does. He thinks he's kind of an asshole, which is backed up by the later scene where he mentions how he's seen the footage and how he thinks Stark only fights for himself and he's only in it for his ego, pride, and like his ability to gloat. On top of the multiple scenes within the movie where Tony is disrespecting Cap and being arrogant, you can clearly tell how Cap feels about him compared to how he treated Howard and thought of Howard in the first Captain America movie. It's just blatantly obvious if you paid attention.
But no, instead of all that, we get constant references to the idea that he's dumb because he's old.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
When he's not that thing, though, guy's like a Stephen Hawking. He's like a smart person.
It may be magical, but it works an awful lot like a Hydra weapon.
I don't know about that.
Polarity long enough to disengage Maglev, and that should...
Speak English!
Steve, tell me none of this smells a little funky, do you?
Monkeys. Do not understand.
I do. I understood that reference.
So your point about how they make Captain America look dumb is by showing scenes that gave you what you wanted because he's not adjusted to the new world. Huh. Interesting.
And this is just an aside, but does anyone know what Captain America means when he says this line?
I went under. The world was at war. I wake up, they say we won. They didn't say what we lost.
I've seen this film about 800 times, and I could never figure it out. I assume he's referring to World War II, but we did win that. By we lost, does he mean that there's still problems in the world? Later on we find out that Hydra still exists, but at this point in the MCU, for all we know, they've been defeated. In any case, this line comes off as a pretty glass-half-empty response towards winning World War II. That whole event was kind of a big deal, and it was very hard, and he should know this. It's understandable if he's depressed about getting frozen, but if he should find levity anywhere, it should be in learning that his and everyone else's sacrifices during the war were not in vain. You would think that he would be a little bit more grateful and relieved. This is just an odd line in general. Joss, why did you write this?
Do I even need to, explain this? You say you've watched the movie however many times. How do you not get a line that's, one, not even supposed to be that serious, and two, is so simple to understand that you almost understood it yourself? Yes, they won the war, but a lot of people died during that war. Cap lost 70 years of his life because of the war. It's in reference to all the things that were lost. That doesn't mean that he's not optimistic about some things. It's just touching on a part of his mental state that is upset over what was lost. Pretty simple to understand.
Captain America's first fight scene is his battle with Loki. And I'll address the elephant in the room right away. This costume is atrocious.
Alright, this might be one of the only things in this video that I can agree with. I don't think it's atrocious, I just think it's kind of meh, but whatever.
Tangent aside, Loki and Cap have a fight, and it's a bit of a struggle for him. That's all well and good, but then Iron Man suddenly appears, and Loki surrenders after taking just one hit from him. Granted, it was Loki's plan to surrender, but that's beside the point. The way the fight is oriented makes Cap seem like a small fish in a large pond. Seeing him roll around and struggle so much seems kinda lame when compared to Iron Man, who just shows up and wins like it's nothing.
Yes, Loki and Iron Man are a lot more powerful than Captain America. You figured it out. Congratulations. What the fuck?
This issue is made doubly apparent in the next fight scene that follows. Thor arrives to capture Loki, and Iron Man pursues him to do battle. When Cap tries to follow, Black Widow recommends that he stays behind because she thinks that he's too weak to help.
Because he kind of is. Also, Black Widow doesn't even know that much about Captain America. She hasn't been around him long enough to see his full capabilities. And she just saw him getting his ass kicked by Loki. Also, there's no double issue. There's no issue at all.
This scene is also repeated in Age of Ultron.
Well, he's definitely unhappy. I'm gonna try and keep him that way.
You're not a match for him, Cap.
Thanks, Barton.
And it's also fine that they have that line in Age of Ultron. If anything, it's actually a problem in Age of Ultron that Captain America fights Ultron in that movie for as long as he does on that truck, because Ultron should easily body him.
When Captain America finally enters the fight, he uses his signature shield throw straight to the faces of Thor and Iron Man, and it literally has no effect on either of them. They just seem mildly annoyed, He tells them to stop fighting, and Thor tries to kill him for it.
Cap literally gets their attention and stops them from fighting, which makes them be able to progress the mission. What are you even talking about? And we also don't even know if Thor was even trying to kill Captain America. He could have been holding back his hammer strike. It's also possible that he could have been going for Captain America's feet before Captain America made a move to block Thor's attack.
When we get to the scenes in the helicarrier, Captain America and Tony Stark are constantly arguing with each other. You would think that they'd have some semblance of respect for one another due to Cap's history with Howard Stark, but no. Tony is constantly making jokes at Cap's expense, and Cap backfires at him like an insecure child.
One, Tony doesn't like Captain America because of how his dad hyped him up, which is explored further in other movies, and he always talked about Cap, and he didn't really give Tony much attention as a kid, and now Tony sees himself as a better hero and better person than Captain America, so he looks down upon Cap and keeps disrespecting him because of that. And Cap doesn't like that Tony is walking around like an arrogant prick and being a dickhead to him, while there's a big threat impending and they're on a very important mission. Plus the things I already talked about earlier in the video, so what is the problem here?
I get that we want to foreshadow Civil War, but isn't the point of Civil War that they were friends before they were enemies?
They become friends and grow to respect each other in this movie, which happens before Civil War. How fucking dense are you? Like, what the fuck am I listening to?
Furthermore, Stark pretty much always comes out on top in these arguments. He and Cap argue about S.H.I.E.L.D. hiding secrets, and Stark is right. Cap accuses Tony of being too self-centered to be a hero, and Tony proves him wrong by the end of the film. Tony claims everything special about Cap came out of a bottle, and based on this film alone, that's kind of an overstatement, if anything, but we'll get into more detail on that later.
Even though I've already pretty much proved everything that he just said wrong earlier in the video, we'll also get into that later in the video, like he said. And most of the things that he frames as a bad thing, quote unquote, are simply just how he frames it in that context. But when you actually put in the context of how the movie is writing these situations and what it's doing for the characters and the plot, then it's not actually a bad thing.
At one point, Cap starts to lose the verbal argument and resorts to physical threats, which seems like something that would be very much beneath someone like Captain America. You would think that someone with a strong moral compass like him would be mature enough to settle a squabble with an ally without resorting to violence. Plus, I don't think anyone really thinks he would win that fight.
The only reason he starts doing stuff like this is literally because of the Mind Stone. Otherwise, he would keep himself more composed, like he does earlier in the movie.
Fast forward again, and Loki's minions attack the helicarrier. Let's do a rundown of everyone's mission during this scene. Fury and Hill defend the bridge. Thor battles the Hulk and tries to stop Loki. Black Widow escapes the Hulk and defeats Hawkeye. Iron Man repairs the helicarrier. So what is Captain America's big important mission?
See that red lever? It'll slow the rotors down long enough for me to get out. Stand by it. Wait for my word.
Stand next to the red lever until Iron Man tells him to flip it. And he can barely even do that one right. Why is he even here? Is there nothing more important we can think of for him?
I'd say saving Iron Man's life so that he doesn't die and stops them all from crashing and, killing everyone on board. I'd say that's a pretty important mission. But okay.
Are there not hundreds of trained grunts here who can do this same job and stand by the lever instead?
No, they literally can't do the job. What are those trained grunts gonna do when the armed men come in and start shooting at them? Absolutely nothing. They're gonna die. What are they gonna do when they eventually slip off the side of the ship? They're gonna die.
This scene makes Captain America look like a complete fool. He is constantly being made to look stupid for not being tech savvy.
He doesn't look stupid, he just looks like what he is, a person from the old days who doesn't know what he's looking at. This is like saying I'm stupid for me traveling to 2099 and not understanding what a piece of technology from 70 years in the future is. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, again, you wanted Cap to be struggling with adjusting to the new world, and now you're complaining when we get a scene with that happening.
He struggles way too hard to fight just 3 nameless henchmen, and one of them almost wins. Captain America fails to stand by the red lever because he slips off the helicarrier like a moron and is left dangling for his life. He is at the complete mercy of this nameless dude.
One, you literally just showed the scene of him easily taking out 2 of the guys when he was in close quarters combat, and the other guy that comes in has a gun, and they're firing at each other from range, while Cap has, no cover pretty much, and is on the side of a ship that is falling out of the sky and constantly shaking, while he's being shot at by a guy who keeps taking cover with a better angle, and he still comes out on top and does the job. What are you talking about?
Meanwhile, Fury and Hill are dropping the other henchmen left and right.
You mean when they're in a room when they both have guns and they both have angles that they can easily shoot the guys that are coming in from one spot that they can easily, keep track of? Yeah, Crazy concept. Both of them would have died if they were in Captain America's position.
Black Widow has an easier time fighting Hawkeye than Cap does fighting this random, irrelevant man.
1, if Black Widow was in Captain America's position, she would die. 2, do I even need to explain the difference between these two situations? Like, can I just trust that the person watching this video is smart enough to understand the difference?
Cap doesn't even get to win in the end. Iron Man has to fly over and save the day.
The only reason Iron Man could save the day is because Cap completed his mission and saved his life. How fucking dumb are you?
It should be noted that if you watch this film in isolation, you would barely know that Captain America is a super soldier. There's the punching bag scene, which is well and good, but aside from a few acrobatics, there isn't a whole lot that he does that Hawkeye or Black Widow couldn't also do.
Literally the scene you're showing right now, Hawkeye and Black Widow could not do. There's multiple things in the Avengers End battle that Hawkeye and Black Widow could not do. The thing that Cap does to save Iron Man's life on the helicarrier, Black Widow and Hawkeye could not do.
In fact, there's a few situations in which those two probably would have done better.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one.
Now, this next critique is entirely subjective, but
Hey, you guys aren't authorized to be in here.
Son, just don't.
a guy that looks like this is not nearly imposing enough to refer to someone as son.
Are you retarded?
Now, the next part of the video is me reacting to this video for the first time while watching it with a couple friends right after we watched Avengers 1. So, yeah. You just don't know really shit about, or in this case, if he even believes it's the real one, it's like, just came around giving you orders. It's like, how the fuck do I even know if you're competent?
They write it so the cops witness Cap in action before he talks to them. Why can't they just be grateful to get help from someone who's qualified to handle the situation?
He's giving them help! He's giving them orders! Like, what are you talking about?
The way they wrote it makes you want to laugh at Captain America for even showing up. The doofy costume and awkward fight choreography doesn't help either. And before we move forward, I want to do a quick recap of what just happened. Cap, Widow, and Hawkeye land in the Quinjet. Widow and Hawkeye cover Cap as he runs over to the cop, and then Cap just immediately returns to Black Widow and Hawkeye.
And saves them from getting overwhelmed.
That's all you ran over there
They were
to
about
do?
to get overwhelmed
You did
right
this
there.
whole cool epic parkour sequence just to go talk to this one guy and come back? Did you do
I mean, they're in the middle of a war zone. Yeah, that kind of happens. The fuck?
those same
Yeah,
epic
and he got the
stunts in
cops to
reverse?
save
Like,
many lives.
I get that you're from another time, dude, but even back then they still had radio. Did you not
Are you
have one
fucking kidding me? Where is his radio?
of those on the Quinjet? I'm pretty sure Nick Fury could have done a more efficient job of giving orders all the way back from the helicarrier. Heck,
Okay, and
How
if
can he contact the police at this point in the middle of a war zone?
And if they don't, and if Cap doesn't have a fucking radio right now, then what the fuck is he supposed to do? And why would they just have a conveniently placed radio to talk to the cops on the Quinjet that they stole?
even at the end of the film, you pretend to have a radio in your ear when there's clearly nothing there. But whatever, it's fine. Let's just relax.
You mean the Avengers comm line that they've been using to talk to each other the entire fucking movie? Thank you.
Try to think more positively, because his big scene is coming up. Finally, a good moment to talk about where he does something right. The moment where Captain America finally distinguishes himself as the leader of the Avengers and gives out the orders. Except, wait. There's something wrong here. Blink and you won't hear it, but it's definitely there.
Call it, Captain. Call it, Captain.
Iron Man orders Captain America to give the orders. He can't even have that.
What the fuck? Yo, Sergeant, yo, Sergeant, what should we do? Why are you ordering me to give your order? What the fuck? Are you fucking stupid?
This is the dumbest Avengers.
I can't believe it's so stupid. The whole point of that scene is that Iron Man respects him as the leader.
Now he's giving Cap orders.
He put his pride aside to allow Cap to be the leader instead of arguing with him.
Oh my god. Alright.
Good to have it. There's not much else to really even say about that. Also, at no other point in the film do they really acknowledge Captain America as an authority figure for the team before or after this moment.
Wait, you mean, yeah, I was about to say, you mean when they all grow as characters and accept Cap as the leader and they're in the middle of a battle, the leader does his job? That's a crazy concept, man. Wow.
This just kind of comes out of nowhere. This next major scene with Cap is probably the most offensive of all. The scene where he tries to save
sorry,
the
I know where
civilians
he's
from the
fucking-
bomb. And man, he is really having a hard time fighting these nameless minions. He can barely take out just the 3 that are here. Again, just 3 faceless minions.
Pause. I used to agree with this point until we watched the movie today, because the reason he's struggling so hard is because they're such a threat to him. It's because he's so focused on the civilians not dying.
Well, he pulls that clip where he gets put in a chokehold by one of the aliens. Like, why is that even an issue for a moment?
He's telling the civilians to get the fuck out of there. That's why he's caught off guard. He's worried that others will die in the process, so he's putting himself in vulnerable positions so the aliens can take advantage. And he still fucking beats the shit out of them.
He only gets blasted
Again,
outside because they
he's
throw a
putting
grenade at
everything
him,
he
which
has into
blocks
winning
with the
this
shield.
fight, and he nearly dies. He doesn't even really save the
No, he
civilians.
doesn't.
The bomb
He
went
kicks
off
their
in the
ass
building.
while
He was just lucky that it didn't have a large enough blast radius to hurt anyone. He gets blown the hell.
What the fuck was he even supposed to do in that scenario?
Wait, no, he does save the civilians. They're about to throw it at.
Well, no, he said,
Yeah,
I agree, but he's saying it was lucky it didn't have a big enough blast radius or whatever.
In the
so,
building.
in this
He was just lucky
scenario,
that it
after
didn't have
this
a
thing
large
gets blown up, okay,
enough
what
blast-
do you want him to do? Literally, what do you want him to do?
Well, the
Well, it's like-
Shadari didn't get enough time. Didn't time to grenade at Cap, let alone the civilians. Just wouldn't hit them.
radius to hurt anyone. He gets blown the hell out of the window, and then he gets all sad. He's probably just embarrassed.
Well, like let's say you could say, oh, what if he threw a shield? Oh, so you mean the same result where he might get hit by the thing, and so might the people? Okay.
This happened. What's even worse is that this is his most significant scene in the entire battle. Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man wipe the floor with the Chitauri. Black Widow gets to hijack a chariot and close the portal.
You mean the
Even
more
Hawkeye
powerful
gets to fly the
characters do
Quinjet.
more?
He
Thank
takes
you.
out Loki's chariot, and he also acts as an eye in the sky, directing the flow of the battle. Captain America.
Oh, you mean he's doing his job? Okay.
Yeah, the job Cap gave him. The job Cap gave him, by the way. The job
Dude,
Cap gave him.
Hawkeye is not doing anything impressive. He's just sitting around shooting arrows.
He's literally
camping.
a Black Ops 2 camper trying to get gold camo.
Gets ordered.
Black Widow is like flying around a ship doing like jack shit, and she has to get saved by fucking Hawkeye. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, but she gets to close the portal. Oh, you're telling me she gets to hold the stick and then push it forwards? Wow, how impressive.
Should have been Cap, man. Should have been Cap.
Yeah, Cap should have held the
barely
stick.
takes out this random
No,
trio.
no, it
It's
shouldn't have
easy
been
to
Cap, remember,
imagine
because he had a
dozens of other
powerful Cap
trios and
holding a
dozens of
lever
other
in the
buildings
air.
doing the exact same thing. Couldn't they at least some kind of alien general for him to fight? Maybe they could utilize his leadership skills to continue to rally the military
Wait,
and police.
pause. Why would they have... If Cap can just casually be one of Thanos' generals, that'd be really fucking stupid.
Yo,
But the Chitauri don't... Wait, so that means they'd have to create a whole new subclass for the Chitauri, because they don't have generals. They have the normal soldiers, and then they have the Alliance. I'm like, that's it. Why would they create a whole new subclass of generals just for Captain America to take one of them on the fight?
I'll be fair with this. I think it would have been kind of cool if they did something about it. Like if there's like this like Chitauri general, and it's like slightly bigger than the rest of them and somewhat skilled, and we get a cool fight scene with Cap, you know, fighting it, and then like he's struggling a little bit, but he beats the shit out. That would have been fucking cool. I would have liked that in the movie. We don't need it or anything, but that would have been like a nice little addition, you know?
Yeah, but it's like he's piling it up on top of shit that he's like taking out of context and downplaying to be like, oh yeah, this would have been the one cool moment for Captain America. It's like, what?
Yeah, definitely.
Bro,
Consider giving up, but then Cap gives an inspiring speech to revitalize them and boost morale. It would give him a chance to show off his unyielding endurance. They could even do a nice callback and have him say something like,
One second.
Him going to fight Iron Man and Thor was an example of his unyielding. Because he definitely is outmatched against Iron Man and Thor. But he took that out of context and downplayed it too.
and consider giving up, but then Cap gives an inspiring speech to revitalize them and boost morale.
Or he literally gives them orders and tells them what to do. Like, what?
Nah, but Tony told him to, so
oh,
therefore
my bad. I forgot about that.
It would give him a chance to show off his unyielding endurance. They could even do a nice callback and have him...
There's literally a scene that shows that. Remember the scene where he's like right next to Thor? He's like, what are you, tired?
Yeah, Comic Question just said that.
I was deaf, my bad.
Yeah, he's like, well, what are you getting sleepy to Thor?
Yeah.
Like, he's not giving up.
Yeah.
say something, we could do this all day. Or maybe Avengers Assemble, just something to justify him being there. since there's nothing he does in this battle that any other Avenger could also do just as well, if not better.
What the fuck is literally what is Black Widow gonna do in
battle
this?
that any other Avenger could also do just as well, if not better.
Same with Black Widow.
Dude, if Black Widow got grabbed like behind, like you know how Cap gets like chokeholded in this thing? If that was Black Widow, what the fuck is she gonna do?
She would have died.
Yeah, she wouldn't be able to get out. It would have been over.
Something to justify him being
Also, like, pause.
Since there's nothing he does
right now
in this
he's arguing that Cap should be able to do something that no other Avenger can. It's like there's nothing that Cap can do physically that cannot be done by another Avenger. He's not the strongest of them.
Yeah, what makes him special is like is how we can rally up people and like give orders. Like convincing the police to do what they did. No one else would have been able to do that. Nobody thought of doing that.
Battle
like
that any other
really
Avenger
trying to
could
argue
also
that Cap should be the strongest Avenger right now.
just as well, if not better. Maybe, since they skipped over the Hulk learning to become a team player, they could have a scene of Cap being the one to figure out how to make the Hulk finally cooperate. There are
What the fuck?
That's why he gave Hulk a broad thing like Smash and didn't give him specific orders, because he knows that Hulk isn't good for like complex specific tasks.
Yeah, he knows how to communicate with his team the best. That's like showing it right there. He knows
that he literally just did.
Dude, he's gonna tell the big green idiot a complex plan. Like, I need you to attack this in a formation of that. And he's just like, no, just tell the idiot do his thing.
Well, in fairness, I think all the movies do miss out on this. I do like how in the comics and shit, like how he gets Hulk to cooperate is like he gets Hulk to actually like him. And I do think
Push my days heroes, let's go.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the context of this movie and like how he handles it. It's like, are we gonna give Hulk some big inspirational talking to or some shit right now, or are we gonna tell him, yeah, do this, it's easier and it's more fucking efficient? Like what?
Instead, we get scenes like this, where Cap and Thor fight side by side. Only Cap gets wrecked, and Thor makes it look easy. Thor has to check in on him.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
Easy. Thor makes it look easy, guys. The second strongest
Avenger. Hold on, this is literally
another fucking line.
Another thing. After he gets his ass kicked, what happens after this? He shows the thing that he wanted, like his unrelenting endurance, or whatever. This literally fucking happens. Like, what the fuck?
He gets shot and he keeps going.
Also, once again, he got shot and he can stand back up. Imagine if that was Black Widow that got blasted like that, she'd be dead.
Like he's a child, and likewise has to ignore him when he gets defensive. Everything's special about you.
That's so disingenuous. He says, are you getting sleepy?
Oh my god.
You came out of a bottle. What is special about Captain America in this movie? He isn't powerful, he isn't smart, he can barely win any of his fights,
and he gets
continually disrespected by both his peers and the general public.
Wait, oh my god, bro. Captain America is powerful. He's just not as powerful as Hulk.
Well, like, he asks, like, what's special about him or whatever. I feel like we've explained it so many fucking times.
Well, he brings up he's not powerful. It's like Captain America is not supposed to be powerful. He's never supposed to be the strongest of them. That's not his purpose on the team.
I mean, I guess he's trying to say, like, yeah, he should be a crazy badass or whatever, even though we do get scenes of him doing cool shit, but it's like, the point, he keeps showing, like, oh, Iron Man, Hulk, and fucking Thor are doing this crazy stuff. It's like, yeah, that's what they should. They're the most powerful fucking Avengers. Like, Cap is literally the one that rallies the fucking team and coordinates them better so that they can get the job done better. How is that not important?
They only do what they do, like the impressive stuff that they do in the movie, because Cap orders them. Like, it's you know, they probably wouldn't have thought of like doing the things that they did in the movie, like when Thor goes up on the tower and lightnings like tons of the army and shit. That's because of Cap's orders.
Well, yeah, he fucking, because he doesn't do that before Cap even tells him to do that.
Yeah, he didn't even think to do that.
Dick. Marvel Comics, and I am very much a fan of Captain America as a character. This character represents what it means to be a true leader. What he lacks in power, he makes up for in resolve and endurance.
Are you fucking kidding me? So you mean just like the movie?
Then why are you complaining that he's not powerful in this movie?
Oh my god. This video is fucking ass.
Leadership is a weapon he uses just as effectively as his shield.
Oh, just like the movie. Okay.
He's a super soldier.
Cool.
A fight with an average man should very much be an easy task for him. Oh, but he just got trapped in a bad angle.
A fight with an average man should be an easy task for him. Oh, like he's doing right here, except for this when he...
That's wrong, though.
It's like,
hang on. That's sort of wrong. Well, at least with trained peak humans, like one of his greatest enemies is fucking two of his greatest enemies is fucking Taskmaster and Crossbones. They're just normal people that are well trained.
What about Batroc the
I was gonna say, and Barrett and Zemo.
Batroc the Leaper's a fucking loser. That's like the shocker of Captain America.
I was gonna say,
but he leaps, bro.
Don't forget Zemo.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, like, he's trying to say, like, I don't know why this is a problem. He's, like, pinned down, getting shot at by people, and he doesn't even have his shield right now. Like, what the fuck do you want him to do?
Also, the fight is easy. Unfortunately, he's not in a fight. He's in a gunfight. Those are different things.
And in the Junior Kids novel, it says no.
He can't shoot a gun.
Dude,
he can't shoot a gun harder.
You know what he is?
He can't he doesn't have super gun strength.
Yeah, he's right. Well, I mean, Cap should have just he should have fucking neo'd.
He should have thrown the gun.
He should have caught the bullet. He should have caught the bullet midair and threw it back at him.
Yeah, he should have caught him in midair. He can see it in the slow motion. He should have caught him in midair.
Well,
like Batman.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with it. It's like all these scenes in the Avengers. If we replaced Cap with Batman, like, would there be a problem? Like, would this guy have a problem with it?
Well, yeah, because he's holding a gun right now. So.
I mean, a lot of people do have a problem with that. Like the reverse.
What if like Batman struggled with these things?
No, it's actually the. I mean, I feel like it's both, to be honest. Because there's people that are like, yeah, Batman shouldn't be doing shit or whatever. And then there's people like, oh, Batman should be doing shit. It's like, yeah.
So it's like there's people that think Batman shouldn't be doing anything because he doesn't have powers, and there's people that think because Batman is like really smart, he should be able to just solo the entire Justice League by himself. We gave him an infinite amount of preps.
Give him a day, solos the Justice League.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you give him 24 hours to solo the Justice League.
Well, Cap and Batman are really similar when it comes to their importance in their superhero teams. They're not there because they're super strong or fast or whatever. They're there because of their tactical mind.
They're there because they're good leaders, not because they're strong.
Well, Batman's not the leader, but he's like the strategist. He's like the smartest one there when it comes to like.
I'd argue Superman. I'd argue Superman's like leader position is only because he's the most charismatic and I guess the heart of the Justice League.
Superman's not the leader. There's no leadership in. They're just kind of one big unit.
Superman. I mean, if we're assuming, if we're taking leader to mean like the face and like who people would associate with Justice League, I'd argue Superman. It's like the heart.
I would argue
he's the heart of the. I would say he's like maybe the heart. He's not the leader. If I were to give leadership to any of the Justice League, I would actually give it to Wonder Woman.
I'd argue that depends on the Justice League. A lot of Wonder Woman adaptations don't do that.
All right. I gotta go help with something. So I'll be back.
Hey, there is like 1 minute left of the video.
Dude, he's just yapping at this point. It's like his fucking closing statement or whatever, where he just contradicts himself.
Don't balls me when it comes to responding.
All right, bro. What the fuck is this?
Without getting shot. Well, then don't write it that way.
Then don't write it that. What is the fucking issue?
No, don't write it that way. You can't make our heroes vulnerable, guys.
We can't make our heroes have fucking conflicts. No.
Colin,
let's just have.
You can't write it the way I don't want it. You have to write it the way I want it.
No, let's just have Captain America easily wipe it out. Like, so there's no conflict, no sense of stakes to the fucking scene or whatever. Nah.
We should have Captain America beat the Hulk. We need to have Captain America beat the Hulk on the arm wrestling match.
Hero to be inspiring, or even just likable. Don't make him struggle at performing an easy task just because you can't think of anything.
I'd love to. Okay. The easy task while you're on the edge of a fucking dying helicarrier while you're getting shot at by people trying to understand technology you have no idea about. Yeah. That's great.
Easy task.
Easy task. It's like trying to fix a rocket ship while it's taking off and you're getting shot at the same time.
It's an easy task.
Yeah, easy task. My bad.
Better for him to do. And if you can't think of anything better for him to do, then you're the wrong person for this job. It should be very easy to distinguish his strength when compared to someone like Hawkeye or Black Widow. That's how it should be, but none of that is in this film. Instead, we get to see him outwitted, overpowered, sad, and scared. He doesn't inspire confidence, he inspires pity. He is not cool and collected. He looks lost and helpless. We should be shocked by how much he does with so little, not shocked by how easy it is to beat him. He's not a wise leader, he's a helpless child. He's not the last man standing, he's the first one down. A lot of these issues that I talked about were ironed out in later films, but that doesn't justify the mess that started it all. With all that said, I hope I've made my point clear enough for everyone.
You're a fucking idiot.
You've definitely. Hey, he's made his point clear. He's a fucking moron.
What happened? What happened?
This guy's stupid.
What did he say?
He just said stupid
A bunch of
things.
stupid shit.